Mike McCool here in the Royal Examiner studio, and with me today is Kaycee Childress and Jenna DeHaven. They are from the United Way. I guess you could kind of tell for they're advertising it on their garments there. So let's start with you, Kaycee. I guess you could tell us. We're here today. We're going to talk about the 20 for 40 challenge. So let's tell us what's that about. We use a lot of acronyms, so let's spell it out here so people know what we're talking about.
So the 20 for 40 challenge is designed to help ALICE families. ALICE stands for Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed. These are the people that work at the gas station, the people that work at the drive-thru that you go to on your way to take your kid to football. These are the people that are good, honest, hardworking people who are just trying to make ends meet, but for whatever reason, they have a car breakdown, they get sick and can't go to work and don't have vacation time. They need a helping hand every now and then. So we created the ALICE Emergency Fund, and we can give them up to $500 at a time to help them overcome these immediate needs. And with our 20 for 40 program, we are trying to raise $20,000 during ALICE Awareness Week next week. And with that money, we can help 40 families that are in crisis and help get them back on the road to stability.
Yeah. It's true. Like I said, most people just need a little help one or two times maybe in their whole life.
Exactly.
You know.
We're seeing, and with inflation going up and the economy where it is, we are seeing more and more first-time families coming to us saying, hey, I just need a little help.
Right.
Just to get them back on the road to recovery.
Right. I don't think people don't realize, they're used to buying certain brands of goods, and all of a sudden, I can't buy that 88-cent can of green beans anymore. I got to buy the $1.50 can of green bean because it's not available, and little things like that. You don't think much about it, like, oh, it's just 20 cents. I remember my daughter works for me, and she said, yeah, I had to buy this little item, and it only cost 3 cents more. I said, that's 20% increase. You know? You don't realize how these small pennies add up to big numbers when you got a budget you're trying to stay on.
Absolutely. I was reading an article about a month ago that said the average family of four is spending $450 a month more now than they were 6 months ago.
Right.
That's a car payment.
And where's that money come from?
Exactly. And that's why we're seeing more and more families coming to us saying, can you just give us a little help? So ALICE Awareness Week, we're going to be doing a full media push.
Okay. We
will have everything on social media out there telling the stories of ALICE families who have come to us, who have gotten the help they need to move forward.
Right.
We will be asking individuals to donate to try and help us reach this goal so that moving forward, we do have the money to help ALICE families. Since 2018, when we started the program, we've given out over $21,000. And that is a lot of families that really needed just a hand up.
Right. So how do families qualify, or how do they go about applying for this monies?
So they can reach out to our Valley Assistance Network, call United Way of Northern Shenandoah Valley and reach out to our Valley Assistance Network. We really don't, unlike the federal government who says this is poverty level,
right? We
don't do that. We look at where the need is, what your bills are that you can't pay, and just try to help everyone.
Right.
So what we've seen is, on average, the federal government says you're at the poverty level if you're in the low 20s for a family of four. What we've seen in the Northern Virginia area is you really need to be at $70,000 or $80,000 minimum just to make ends meet. So there's a whole group of people in there that really don't qualify for the federal government, but they need help. So we don't go through a difficult qualification process. You come in, you tell us what your need is, and we help try to fill it.
Okay. So is there a follow-up to help people with their counseling on their debts, and do you get into that as well?
So one of the things that our Valley Assistance Network does that I love is, in addition to our ALICE Emergency Fund, we act like the hub of a wheel. And we connect people to food. We connect people to educational resources. We connect people to help with utility bills. We connect people to help with gas cards.
Right.
And then what we do is, when somebody comes in and talks to us, our resource navigators, that's what we call them, will sit down with you and say, all right, let's look at what your issue is, and let's look at how to help it in the long term.
Exactly.
So one of the stories I love, we had a single mom come in. She said, I can't pay my rent this month. And one of our resource navigators sat down with her and said, okay, what do you make? And she was making $13 an hour, and said, okay, well, you really need to be making $19 an hour because we can help you this month, but you're not going to be able to pay your rent. And she said, well, I can't do that because my car broke down and I have to be able to walk to work, and this is the only place I can get to. So we brought in the Alice Emergency Fund. We fixed her car. She came back to us a week later and said, hey, I got a job making $19 an hour. Thank you so much. So now she's able to pay her rent every month.
Right.
So we do work with families and try to counsel them on maybe you need to go back to school. And there's some great programs at
There are
Laurel
a lot
Ridge.
of programs. I was surprised at the things that have come up. Laurel Ridge has got a lot of programs and funding for letting you go to
Yes.
Be a dental assistant or a nursing assistant or something that you can get through in a short period of time.
Absolutely.
They're not like 2 and 3 years. They're sometimes 2 or 3 months.
Yes.
And the job will double your wages. Yeah.
Absolutely. And we work in partnership with Laurel Ridge. We like to refer people to Laurel Ridge. We love the programs they have. They have programs designed for working adults who maybe can only go one night a week.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're not having to worry about, oh, geez, how am I going to get off work to go to class? It's one night a week from, say, 8 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really important that people understand, and we want them to come in and realize that we're not just here to give you that hand up today. We're also here to help you figure out what to do moving forward.
Right, right. That's like say you may not be able to help them, but you know a guy.
Exactly. We
So I
got a
always tell
guy.
people, they say, can you do this? They say, well, if I can't do it, I know a guy.
Yep.
And so that's what I tell people. And then a lot of times, they'll call like a church, looking for food bank, the food things. And I said, well, look, I can't help you on this, but I know somebody that can help you. Call this person. They know what's going on. And you're kind of like the guy to call. And you may not help them directly, but
But we know a guy.
Yeah, your organizational chart is a circle.
Yes. And we work so closely with the nonprofit partners that they get our impact grants, or they just happen to be in our community. And so we know that, oh, well, maybe this church has money that they can help
Right.
you with, or maybe it's CCAP that you need to go to get food, or maybe, we've had instances where somebody has maxed out all of their resources to get rental assistance, but if we get them help with their power bill and we get them help with their food, then they have the money to pay their rent.
Exactly.
So,
Sometimes
yeah.
you have to go through the kitchen door, right?
Right. Yes. So, yeah, we know a guy.
Yeah, you know a guy. Well, Jenna, you haven't said much, so
Yeah.
are you just here for eye candy, or?
Well, I show up and I do what I'm told.
So what do you do there at the United Way?
Yeah, so by title, I'm the Director of Advancement. In function, I tend to just do whatever needs doing.
You're the guy.
Right, for a lot of
things, she's the guy.
For a lot of things, I'm the guy, which works for me. So a big part of also what we're doing for this Alice Awareness Week is to increase the visibility of 41% of the people you shop with at the store, the people who live in your neighborhood, maybe the people your kids go to school with, are having a hard time getting through month to month. The challenges that they face and also the strength that they bring to our community are things that we're trying to highlight and bring awareness to as well. Yes, we have this monetary goal. We also want to flood the valley with information so that we understand what's happening right around us, even if we don't see it, even if we happen to not be feeling it.
Right.
So part of our social media push that Kaycee mentioned is that we're asking people to take on a challenge to walk in the shoes of an Alice family for a day, a night, the whole week if you can manage, based on the requests that we see most often for assistance, those being housing. So a lot of people, if you get evicted from your apartment, you tend to bounce around and bunk with other folks. Mm-hmm. So to kind of mimic that without, actually losing your stable housing, just sleep on your couch. How does that feel? What does it feel like to go through then the rest of your day having not had a bed to sleep in?
Right,
sleeping on a couch, sleeping on an air mattress. We did last year an air mattress drive because we were told this is a huge need. Lots of kids especially end up sleeping on the floor. An air mattress would make a big difference for them. We were able to raise 200 mattresses through this drive to distribute through the community. Makes a huge difference in the daily lives of these people. Another thing we see a lot of requests for related to housing are utilities. So we're asking people to spend a night with no power. What is that like? I mean, weather permitting. Some people
Sure.
end up doing that anyway, but what if you didn't have a choice about it? What if
You don't realize how much
Yeah.
you depend on flipping that switch, turning the
Sure.
light
Yep.
on. Yeah. You mentioned that, walking someone else's shoes.
Yes.
The thermal shelter did that last month. Sleep outside. We're going to,
Yeah.
they were over at the Marlow Heights.
Yep, we were out
Baptist.
there.
Were you out there? And, sleep outside in the cold. And then,
Yeah.
you know what? People, and they had a pretty good response, I think, with that.
it was a great event?
And, but things like that make a big difference. And sometimes, we don't realize that our neighbor is hurting. But you mentioned the information. Now, I consider myself pretty well on the knowing what's going on. But truthfully, I knew nothing about this program. The United Way would be the last place I would call for assistance.
Well, I mean, for starters, we are super excited to now be in Front Royal.
Right.
We merged with United Way Front Royal, Warren County. And what we are able to do in doing that is bring the full weight of our resources.
Right.
We serve Clark, Frederick, Winchester, Shenandoah, Page, and now Warren.
Right. It's great.
And so we have the infrastructure, we have the resources. That they were a very small United Way.
Right.
They were doing great work, but they just didn't have the resources that we do.
Yeah. Economics of scale, right?
Exactly, economics of scale. So we're trying to let everybody in Warren know we are here.
Right.
We're bringing Van to Front Royal Warren, our Valley Assistance Network, to help people. We are already in partnership with some of the great local businesses down here to fund our annual campaign.
Right.
Jenna was just out at Teray, and they were doing a phenomenal job. We're going to be working with the city. And we use that money to actually support local nonprofits with our impact grants, which now Warren nonprofits will be eligible for.
Right.
So I think it's going to be a learning curve for everybody to understand that we're here and we're here to help. But we want everyone to know it's about the work for us. We want to partner with all the local nonprofits.
Right.
We want to make sure, we always say we want to help every citizen in the Valley. And we're so excited to now be doing that in Warren.
Well, like I said, I didn't realize some of these programs. I knew that what the United Way did, but it's always like big projects. They were great at raising money, and they were great at organizing businesses and their contributors. And they'd come up with this large sum of money and donate that to, or put it in a work with another group. But I didn't realize it was so involved. So that's good. Your campaign is working.
Well, we really want, our Valley Assistance Network, I actually started with United Way in April. And one of the things that drew me to the United Way so completely was our Valley Assistance Network. Because I love that, for example, last year we gave out $540,000 to area nonprofits. But with our Valley Assistance Network, we're changing people's lives one at a time.
Right.
And that's the part to me that is really fulfilling and really warms my heart. That, I can't go out there and change the whole world, but maybe I can make sure somebody's staying in their apartment this month.
Well, you mentioned that assistance, and that's so true because, like you say, I'm involved in benevolence work and things, and it's like, well, I just don't know who has it. I don't know. I can't know everybody. And all these groups do something a little different, and they have their own little niche that they work in, and it's great. I know we have, Michelle Smeltzer at the DSS.
Oh, she's amazing.
I mean, she's like, I always tell people, look, if I don't know it, call Michelle because she's our community
She's the
liaison.
guy.
And
Oh, yeah. She is the guy.
She's the guy.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people. I said, if she doesn't know it, it's not available.
And so what we're doing is coming down to augment the work that people like Michelle are already doing. And we just had a meeting with local community nonprofits. And I was telling them, we're not coming in to change things. We're not coming in to take over things. We're coming in to help you guys do what you already do so
You're
well.
out there filling the tank. You're providing the fuel.
We want to fill the tank. We want to make sure that, if Michelle is doing all the amazing things that Michelle does, but somebody doesn't know to reach out to her and they reach out to us, we can say, hey,
Call Michelle.
Call Michelle
Yeah.
or go to this nonprofit or go to that nonprofit or go to this
Exactly.
church. And we can help people connect with all of those
That's
nonprofits
great.
that are doing the work.
That's definitely a need because that makes it so much easier for people to navigate through the. And it is. People get really frustrated and don't know what they get rejected. We don't do it because they're not calling the right
and
places.
let's be honest, when somebody is in crisis, they don't have the bandwidth to go to 15 places.
Exactly.
They need to be able to go to one place and say, this is what I need. Can you help me?
Well, but also when you go to these 15 places and they can't help you, you're taking their time away that they could be helping the people they do. So it's kind of a catch-22. You know what I mean? It's,
Well,
but it's great.
I
I think it's good. I really like, and I like the term navigator. I think that's great.
Well, and that's what we do. We help them navigate through the challenges of maybe this nonprofit is only taking applications on Tuesdays.
Right.
Maybe this nonprofit is only open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
So in a lot of instances, we can actually have somebody reach out to us, get them connected with food, with utility help, with rental assistance, et cetera, through our partners, and do it all in one day and sometimes in an hour or two.
Right. That's great. Well, I hope you meet your challenge.
Thank
so it's
you.
20 for 40. That's a great, amazing what 40 people, because those 40 people will help 40 people will help 40 people. And they do. Once people have a tendency, you're changing people's lives really one at a time. And
We're
it's
trying.
amazing. And it's amazing the work that when you do help people up, it's a tendency, I guess we call that pay it forward, and people do. People do that. They're holding the door open for someone, and I think that's small little steps go a long way.
Well, and we really want to encourage people, go on our website, unitedwaynsv.org. Take a look at our Alice Awareness Week challenges. Try going without a phone for a day. Try going without power for a day. Try taking public transportation. Try doing your laundry at a laundromat.
Right. I remember those days.
Yeah. Well, in those days when you're a single parent and you've got 3 kids and you're lugging all 3 of those kids and all of that laundry to the laundromat,
Yep.
it's exhausting. So we encourage people to try that and walk a mile in someone else's shoes and really build that awareness of what our brothers and sisters in the community are going through.
Yeah. I appreciate you coming in and telling us about this because some of this is new to me. And like I said, I've talked to a lot of people.
Well, I'm glad we could let you know.
I appreciate that. And again, thank you so much. And we'll help you spread the word. We'll put the information below this in the video here, and they can give you a contact. All right?
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Jenna.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Kaycee. Appreciate it.